Okay, welcome everybody to the Cosmic Conference, the very first ever Cosmic Conference. And I'm not exactly sure if anybody is going to show up, which is fine because I'm going to be here every single week meditating or talking, and hopefully people will join. I'm skeptical people are going to join this time. We will see. But either way, anyway, I will be here every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in joining me, we're going to be talking about mysticism, spirituality, religion, philosophy, history, or just mundane things, perhaps connected to those ideas, and just a little bit of bonding time, a little bit of a powwow, just a little community events, which everybody is welcome to join. Talk about anything, about, yeah, I don't know. Well, mainly those things. Yeah, actually. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on. And I did make this known to some people, but I don't know if they're going to make it or not. So, either way, I'll get some time for extra time for meditation if that is what is going to happen. And yeah, I don't I don't really know what to say right now. I am starting this a little bit early, but I was a little bit skeptical that people would join. So I decided to just go ahead with it. Okay. Yeah. The reason why I'm hosting these is because it's very important that we begin to start to develop an online community which is spiritually focused, that is not centered around any denomination, which is intimately connected in this sort of face-to-face setting like this, digitally face-to-face, I suppose you could say. But you know, there's many online teachers and communities, but they're always centered around a person or a religion or something. Every single one. I don't think I've seen one which is just open. Maybe it's centered around New Age or something. But this is just spirituality. It's just religion, philosophy, making ourselves better people. So the world needs this because eventually I'm going to evolve on to helping foster a community that'll be in person. I've been making these Beyond Society TikToks and videos and all sorts of stuff for just a few days now, really just getting started, and with this as well, which will be centered around this idea of a solar punk society, right? So what is a solar punk society? A solar punk society, there's two kind of futures which we can potentially find ourselves in. And you can categorize them into solar punk or cyberpunk, right? So cyberpunk, well, I'm sure there's many other potentials, but anyway, cyberpunk is more dystopian, right? So corporations disconnected from nature, greed is rampant, and it's not a nice, pretty situation. Solar punk, on the other hand, is a situation where with renewable energy, with robotics, with automation, we free humanity, right? Humanity has been enslaved for so long. And it's about time that we break out of that enslavement, that to not be tethered to the material world in these ways which we always have been throughout society. You know, we think we've made so much spiritual progress in past ages, and there has been much work that has been done, much great work. But I honestly believe that this generation, with access at our fingertips to all of humanity's spiritual knowledge, with hopefully increasing amounts of free time, we are going to be able to devote all of our spiritual energy, all of our mental energy towards the awakening of consciousness within ourselves and collectively. So, that being said, um, this is a small little step on that journey towards what you would call it, maybe some people say grand rising. It was very interesting the first time I heard this. I was um, with my friend Richard, who was in the Shiva Kailash Shambho circle, and Ricky, and it was during that time period, and somebody mentioned this to me, grand rising. I was like, wow, grand rising. That's I've never heard that term before, but I really like that. Like, good morning is nice, right? But there's also that sort of, you know, idea that you hear thrown around, how valid the underlying philosophy is, I don't know, but people say, oh, morning, like you're crying, and like it's the phonetics of the word, and there's different kind of sounds like that, you know, like a anyway, I won't get into all that. You can, I'm sure you can find videos related. I don't know how you would search for that. Well, okay. Anyway, um, Grand Rising. Grand Rising is it's nice. Grand, it's better than good. And rising, it's like you think of Christ rising from the tomb, you think of rising up, ascension, and you're actually physically rising out of your bed. It's like it's nice. I quite like that term. So I'm trying to foster that grand rising. So that's what we're doing here for now alone. But I'm quite confident that's, you know, not to in any way compare me to Jesus or to any spiritual teacher. And I would never ever want anybody to worship me or anything like that. And I never hope for that, or never um, can clip this and store it away and bring it back to me, bring it back to what I've built in 50 years. And hopefully I'm not wrong, but I will never want my community or anything to be some sort of guru veneration, or, you know, I never want it to be about me. I want it to be about the infinite consciousness, all of that stuff, the just directly the infinites, the father, the monad, whatever you want to call it. And so, but I think that, you know, like Jesus, he only had 12 disciples. I think that even with one or two people, I think I can do some incredible things with them to help them. Um, and then they'll just be like me, just another more me's. You know, even Christian, right? That word originally comes from little Christ, um, because that's what Christ essentially was trying to establish. He was, you know, I can show you guys really quickly some things in this Discord community. So this is our community that which we have here. Um, I have an archive of all sorts of spiritual ideas and things which I've learned over the years. This is a map of the evolutionary tree of religion. It's very cool. All sorts of cool stuff in here. The emotion cycles. I don't know how you explain this, but this is what the Taoists observe, different emotions related to different elements and whatnot. Let me make sure my audio is coming through. Yeah, it is. Cool. Um, right? So this is all Bible verses, actually. And so this is what I'm trying to say, that Jesus was trying to make little Christs, right? He was trying to unify. He was trying to tell you that you are divine. You are God's, and all of you are children of the Most High. There's so many verses. If he is the Son of God, we are also the Son of God too. So you can pause this and just look at all of this evidence. And that is also found, is present in Christian traditions and religions as well. This process of, whether in the West you want to call it sanctification, or in the East you want to call it theosis, but it's in the philosophy, it's in the theology. So it's not overlooked in the philosophy as well. And this is called mysticism. It's in every single religion. It's the perennial philosophy. So I think I'll probably commit myself to an hour for each of these conferences. Of course, they can drag on, hopefully not drag on. Of course, they can go on longer than that. But I'm going to commit myself to an hour. So this video will be an hour long. I'm not sure if I'm going to meditate more or speak more philosophy or whatnot. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a rundown about what this series is, and I hope that you guys join and participate, because what I'm trying to do is start a fire, right? Is to ignite something, a little spark of, mix in a little bit of throw in a couple of ingredients, a little bit of knowledge, esoteric knowledge, the divine knowledge which is accumulated over the thousands of years, sprinkle in uh, some consistently sourcing that information, add that to the pots, add a bunch of spiritual seekers, add some intense seeking, hopefully some initial guiding by me. Hopefully some of you will surpass me, not that it's some sort of competition or something like that. But at the same time, it can be not a competition, but that we can compare who is more spiritually evolved from who is not. I think it's very difficult to actually know or be able to tell or to say that this person is enlightened or this person isn't enlightened. But if we are realistic with ourselves, if we look at reality as it is, we can see that there are things which are higher, there are things which are lower, there are things which are cold, there are things which are warm, there are things which are good, there are things which are bad. The spiritual pursuit is about coming into the good, about embodying pleasure, about seeking pleasure. Not material pleasure, but spiritual pleasures, which are far greater and higher and than the material pleasures. And so, yeah, it's about that. Why was I mentioning that? Totally lost my train of thought. What I was saying spiritual pleasures. What was I saying before that? Completely forgot. Well, meditation clearly doesn't work. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it does. I was with my dada, my teacher of meditation. I can show you a photo of him. I think that I once sent a photo in here, if I'm not mistaken. The teachers of my tradition are called dadas and didis. So this is my teacher. His name is Dada Diti Manananda. He's an Icelandic man. Very cool guy. Very, very interesting, cool guy. And I'm still forgetting why I was talking about spiritual pleasures, right? Some people are higher and some people are lower, right? There's good and there's bad. And the spiritual pursuit is about attaining that which is beyond that duality, which is the ultimate good, completely good, where the negativity vanishes, or you could say untruth vanishes. That which is not is realized as not, and we realize what is truth, what is being, what is bliss, the beatific vision, as you might call it in Christian theology. So, but I'm still kind of forgetting why I was talking about that, right? Some people are better, some people are worse. So some people will be in higher states of bliss and love and peace. We shouldn't kid ourselves. This is oftentimes a spiritual, I don't want to say disease, or I don't know what exactly to call it. So I forgot to turn on my lights over there. But there's this problem that people say, "Oh, I'm already enlightened." But practically, are you already enlightened? Many people say that there's no work that needs to be done, but there is, because reality, because spirituality is about what is real, what is practical, what is here now, what is existence. And so, um, yeah, it's can't be mistaken for just ideas within the mind, because that's ultimately what that is an idea. Oh, I'm already enlightened. um, it's a nice idea, but if I would ask you to describe what enlightenment is, first we would need to agree on what that is, right? For me, it's ultimate goodness, bliss, peace, joy, all melded in one experience of ultimate ecstasy that is unceasing. That's heaven or enlightenment or whatever you want to call it. Actually, very interestingly, it doesn't seem to appear that Jesus really talked much about some heaven after death, or really talked a lot about after death. It's so interesting because it's quite explicit in his, even in his most central prayer, that on earth as it is in heaven, right? That the kingdom of heaven should be established here, that externally, internally, that we should become blissful, divine beings. So it's also a little tidbit to think about. Switch my legs around here. And let's see how long Okay, so right now we've been recording for 23 minutes. So might do like a 35-minute meditation here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? I'm uh,
Um,
I'm I'm Girish K from. I changed my username.
oh, okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, I think we had a conversation briefly, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I was just hosting this conference and no one was really showing up, which is fine because I'm going to be doing these every week and uh so if no one shows up, I'll just sit and I'll meditate. I'm making it a habit. I'll be here every week. So but yeah, it's
That's good.
nice. Yeah.
We must let go of our expectations of other people because they don't always conform to those expectations.
Yes. Yes, that's very true. Very, very true. Yeah. I
Because
did.
everyone's doing their own thing. It's not exactly that they don't want to join this server or that they have something they're not interested. It's just that they might be just doing their own thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've seen there's so many uh Discord servers now. Everybody's also kind of creating their own thing too. I see a lot of
Yeah.
people at
Are you are
least.
you are
So
you like invested into this server? Like, are you invested? Have you invested anything in? Or like, why do you invest so much time on the server? Like, that's what I want to know.
yeah, I think it's because I'm trying to I talk a little bit about it before you join. Um it's going to be in the video, but I I think that's, I want to create something in person eventually. I think that humanity, like right now, it's kind of
Mhm.
not so well understood, but we're about to be very free. And what I mean by that is that with robotics and technology, the technology we even already have, and the access to our, even at our fingertips, all of the spiritual knowledge of all mankind, I think
I
that
agree. Like,
actually,
I think a lot of people are against this TikTok doom scrolling type thing. But I
yeah,
think I think having this knowledge accessible, that itself is very great because in history nobody had access to so much knowledge, and if we know how to utilize it properly, then it can be very useful for us.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think that this generation is actually going to be, it's kind of a
Do
crazy
you do
idea
you like? Let
because,
me. I just want to recommend something to you. Do you use AI voice note takers?
no, maybe you can explain that.
So basically, there is this AI voice note taker called Plod, and what it allows you to do is that you just wear it around your neck, and then like whenever you want to record something, whenever you get an idea, you just press the button, and then you just record it, and then you can go through it afterwards.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
because I saw that you were posting a lot of stuff in the Adi thoughts and stuff. So like I thought like you might find interest in this because
Oh, yeah,
because it's quite useful. It would be quite useful for you.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, there's sometimes when I'm like in the shower and or something, and then I have like, oh, it's such a good thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Um, but what I was also I think I was trying to. I think that this generation is going to be one of the most enlightened generations. That seems like a crazy idea because you think, oh, 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, we have some idealization of those saints and teachers, and there's some distance,
Mhm.
so and there's some time, so it's
And
like,
it's quite
oh
amazing,
wow,
quite amazing what they even accomplished at a time when there was no literacy. Most people were illiterate. They managed to write books that
yeah,
still speak to us today.
100%. You're so right. It's if we had people of that caliber today, I hope we do out there.
Yeah, they are there, but like we don't come across such people because like no amount of money can buy interaction with such people. They are there though.
Yeah, maybe in somewhere in like India, some cave or something. I don't know. Yeah, I think
I,
you're from India, right?
I'm from India, but like I live in Canada.
Where is it?
I live in Canada.
Canada? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
You live actually. Shiva is from Canada, right? Shiva Kailash Shambhu.
yeah, I think he's in maybe Toronto or something.
Yeah, he told me that he lives in Etobicoke, Toronto. So he lives in the same kind of neighborhood as me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of I want to understand you a little bit better. So like what brought you into spirituality, or like how old are you? Like what's going on in your life?
I am 27 years old. Like I got into spirituality when I started receiving insights, just knowledge from the divine source consciousness, and then I started writing these things down, and then I decided to join the server called the what was that server that I joined first? It's um, I forgot the name of it. It starts with spiritual awakening. That's the name of the server. That's the server that I first joined, and then I moved on to Shiva Kailash Shambhu's server, and then I left that server, and then I joined a few other spiritual servers, and then I came to this one.
Cool, cool. So is that kind of how you got so you said you were having some spiritual um information coming to you? Were you ever doing practices, or was it just kind of sporadic? Or like when did you start doing spiritual stuff?
Like from childhood, actually. I presence being present, like how I talk about in my writings. Hello, give me a second. Like I'm getting a call from my mom, so I'll be back later.
Okay. Well, it's nice we had somebody drop by. Let's see how we're doing on time. 33 minutes. It's so weird when I sit here and it's not as easy for me to meditate. Like I like my spots over there. I can go long and it's quite easy. When I was living with monks in Northern California, we would meditate like 3 times a day, up to like an hour, usually. Recently, I haven't been meditating quite as much, but I want to firmly establish at least an hour 3 times a day. I think that would be really good, really transformational, really blissful. Oh, my face is so washed out. It's weird because I'll try to make the lights a little bit dimmer, but then then it's like too dark. It's like something about the lighting setup and the camera. I need to make some small changes. But that's great. I'm very happy that somebody showed up. We'll see if he comes back. I hope he does. But maybe he had to go do something. But it's very nice. First very ever conference. We already have a person showing up. It's great. It's very good. I don't have much expectations for early on in what I'm doing because, you know, I didn't start doing content until much later because I wanted to make a very firm foundation within myself first. And so I feel like I have a good foundation otherwise to create something that is powerful and lasting, help foster. I should say ignite, not really creates, because I think that together we're going to create something, but to help ignite my small little portion of the spiritual um, world as it exists now on this planet Earth. In the year 2026, it's very fascinating. There's some ideas that that spirituality is, I was kind of in this vibration the other day, and people were saying I seem so uninterested. I couldn't look more uninterested if I tried. Maybe I am uninterested. I don't know. I just feel very chill and peaceful. Anyway, there's these ideas that maybe like thousands of years of history or were added or changed or replaced or somehow modified, that we don't really know what has been occurring, which is absolutely a possibility. Because ultimately it's just writing. There's archaeological evidence and other stuff, sure, but it's mostly a history of writing in order to understand what actually occurred in the past. And I don't know, depends how solid the science is, but perhaps it can be altered more than we would be aware of, more easily altered. I think it was like Saint Theosophon the Recluse or something. Also, please meditate with me if you desire. He said that attain the spirits of peace, and thousands around you will be saved. So beautiful. Really, if we're trying to attain the spiritual attainments, then it is something which should be able to radiate, right? Like the sun. That those around us can feel some sort of vibration. There have been many saints and whatnot like that, who in their presence you feel something palpable. I've also heard it said that in the early church, the presence, the aura there was so powerful that when you would enter the church room, you would enter the church, you would have no other choice but to fall flat on your face. And that's, they would say, wow, yes, God is here. Presence of God is here. That's cool. We need something like that again, because I don't know any place that exists like that, at least that I know of. So we will have to create one. I know one of you out there hopefully is a powerful, potent enough being who can do this. Ultimately, the task is, if we want to imbibe that energy, is to develop deep concentration, develop deep awareness, develop deep silence, and center all our attention, our focus, any thoughts that we do have on the infinite, right? That's the essence of it. It's a very nice kind of uh, line which I created, which I really like. That is, I used to have it written out in my Discord profile, but essentially it's it's that the mind of God, the divine being, is thinking infinite love, infinite consciousness. That's how, mind, just as in the microcosm, our own being, just as mind is the roots of our experience, our existence. Maybe not thoughts, but mind is the root of our existence. So the cosmic being, the root of it is also mind. And what is it thinking? It's thinking infinite love or infinite consciousness. And that thought manifests all being into existence. And so when our individual mind contemplates infinite love or infinite consciousness, our own individual mind becomes parallel to the cosmic mind, because that's what the cosmic mind is thinking. And that parallelization, that's what we can call union, enlightenment, moksha, liberation, complete and total freedom, returning to the zero state, becoming again a tabula rasa, a blank slate for the divine inspiration to fill us. Maybe I'll check my phone. This thing is tempting, man. It's supposed to be doing the cosmic conversations. It's supposed to be becoming enlightened. Yeah, okay, let's not do that. Sacred space. It's crazy to me that I hope that people realize their desire, what it is that they truly want. Because on the deepest level, we actually all want the supreme consciousness. We actually all want what it is which we are trying to most directly seek here. But we just may or may not be cognizant of it. And so we seek it out in this form or that form. And then many people are unhappy, unfulfilled, which is quite sad. Actually, I think I would like to play an Osho video. I let's see. Osho, and we can do a little bit of a reaction to it. If you look in my my main channel, in my link tree, I have lots of teachers which I look to. And one of these is Osho.
When you are not doing anything at all, bodily, mentally, on no level, when all activity has ceased and you simply are, just being.
So obviously his philosophy is a little bit different than mine in some ways.
That's what meditation is.
I know you can look at it as actively
You
contemplating
cannot do
the
it.
infinite,
You cannot
or
practice
passively
it.
doing nothing, but I
You
noticed
have
that
only to
as you do
understand
either,
it.
they kind of meld into one.
And whenever you can find time for just being, and drop all doing. Thinking is also doing, concentration is also doing, contemplation is also doing. Even for a single moment, if you are not doing anything and you are just at your center, utterly relaxed. That is meditation. And once you have got the knack of it, you can remain in that state as long as you want. You can remain into that state finally 24 hours. Once you have become aware of the way how being can remain undisturbed, then slowly you can start doing things, keeping alert that being is not stirred. That is the second part.
This is actually really good advice. You know, in all traditions, they emphasize this constant prayer or constant meditation or constant mindfulness. So that is the first parts of the very good advice. And the second part is to begin to do things slowly, especially in the beginning. So as you go about your day, do everything very slowly. Have meditation throughout the day and do the meditation and then carry on the meditation into your day. And that way you can become more and more wakeful, more and more wakeful, more and more wakeful. And eventually you can become more and more wakeful to the infinites or the silence or whatever you want to call that, right? So
of meditation. First, learning how just to be, and then learning little actions, cleaning the floor, taking a shower, but keeping yourself centered. Then you can do complicated things. For example, I am speaking to you, but my meditation is not disturbed. I can go on speaking. But at my very center, there is not even a ripple. It is just silent, utterly silent. So meditation is not against action. It is not that you have to escape from life. It simply teaches you a new way of life. That you become the center of a cyclone. Your life goes on, it goes on really more intensely, with more joy.
Hey, Adi.
hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. I was watching some Osho.
Oh, that's cool. Osho's pretty based.
Yeah. I'm making these cosmic conference videos, and somebody hopped in for a little bit and then left, but nevertheless I'm going to be here every Thursday or so at 8 p.m. just to talk to
Wait, what
people.
time is it now? Are you in the US?
Yeah, I'm in Pacific Standard Time.
Is that 3 hours behind? I'm in New York.
Probably. I think so, yeah. So I'm just getting to know people better, trying to, we're just talking about ideas, whatever.
Was there any lesson in particular that you've been focusing on lately in your practice?
Well, I was just listening to Osho, and he was saying some interesting stuff about being constantly aware and stuff. I don't know if there's something specific that I'm focusing on right now. Because I'm really just trying to really reestablish my practice. But yeah, what about you? I don't really know a whole lot about you, actually. So
No, we don't really talk. We've never talked. This is the first time.
yeah. So where you see, you said you're from New York?
Hang on, I had to change my thing to voice activity. Yeah, I'm from New York and I'm 38 years old and I've been a spiritual practitioner for more than like, I don't know, I'd say like since I was like 14 or something. That was the first time I did like yoga, learned about Taoism, got into Buddhism,
Okay,
and
cool.
then it went from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't usually look at people's age. I like to look at how long they've been on the spiritual path. So you've been on the spiritual path for quite a while, so you're my superior here. So
Wait, how old
kudos.
are you?
I'm surprisingly I'm 24, but I've
Mm,
also been on the spiritual path since 14. Um,
that's kind of when the veil lifts because of puberty.
yeah,
It's like an awakening, a becoming. It's very extreme in the body, the mood swings, the intensities, the sexuality.
yeah. You said you're into sort of Taoist kind of philosophy?
Well, that's the foundation. Yeah. Like pretty much, middle path, go with the way. All we can do is like push ourselves out of like the obstructions of the river of life vibes. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, that's very also quite Osho, which I was just listening to. Talks a lot about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you ever, you said you like Osho? I forgot if you commented on that.
Yeah, I did. I said I liked Osho. I think he's like a rock star.
Yeah, he's
He's
so
pretty funny.
good.
He's crazy.
I think he's definitely one of the best spiritual teachers that's we have. I like, and I sometimes I'm like who to look to, but then I like watch his videos. I look at Osho and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Just his being.
He's very magnetic. He's got like insane magnetism.
Yeah. So what are you up to in New York? What's going on there?
Nothing right now. The only thing I did recently was like last November, I got like my Reiki master thing. And then now I'm looking into maybe finding a teacher for like Vajrayana or like Karma Mudra or something. I don't know. I've been looking around.
Very cool. Uh, is
What about you?
this is this one of the symbols for Reiki? Is it like this kind of? Or
I think so.
because
That's pretty universal.
I had a very interesting story where I was like playing soccer when I was in all the way back in high school, and I like hurt my knee, and it was like really hurting, and I had to go to the side, and my coach, he like made this symbol and he stuck it in my knee, and then all of a sudden my knee was like completely healed. I could go back out and run, and I asked him, "What did you do?" And he was like, "Oh, it's just like a little thing that I do with kids to like like make them feel better." Like he was saying it's like a some sort of mental thing. But at that time I knew, wait, that's a Reiki thing. That's 100% a Reiki thing. And then I like went back out and it was like it was healed. It was the craziest thing ever. So,
Qigong. That's totally Qigong. It's like,
yeah.
boom. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
noticed one time I stabbed myself in my hand like by accident because I was trying to get like an avocado pit out, but it was too ripe. So instead of hitting the pit, it like went almost through my hand. And I noticed that like after I got stitches, there was this like white burning sensation all night long. Like I literally couldn't sleep. And that was like the energy like coming back into the wound to like stitch it up within itself,
Whoa.
which was like insane. It was like fire, dude. Like I could almost see my hand radiating in the pitch black darkness of my room. That's how insane it
Wow.
was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got some aura.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool. I also have a fruits related incident. My wrist, I guess you can't really see it
Yeah, you can't.
so
It's too
much,
pale.
but
You're radiating, bro.
no, I've been trying to fix these lights, trying to, but like it's either like it's like looks dark or it's like I'm all washed out, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're washed out right now because even the wood is like ultra white. Like look at the hues of white. There's like no shadows. It's like
Yeah,
cast no shadow upon you.
yeah. But no, I'm just a very radiant being, you know,
Yeah,
obviously.
obviously.
So how did you get to that? How do you think you developed that ability to heal something like that? It's like what were you doing lots of meditation or was it qigong or yoga or just combination of stuff? Because that's a pretty cool story.
I mean, I did yoga for like at least like 20 years, easily. Easily. Because I started when I was 14 and then I took it as a really serious practice in my 20s. I became like a karma yogi. I started doing like Kundalini yoga. That's how I got introduced to it. And then, but before then, I kind of like was always like ultra perceptive and like ultra like quote unquote psychic and shit, like ever since I was a kid. So it's kind of just a natural thing that I just made into a discipline, to be completely honest, just so I don't go crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember hearing stories about Tesla, how he would be able to like imagine things in his mind like so vividly, and his like power of concentration, his mental power. And I was always so jealous of that because I'm like very aphantasic.
Mm,
Um, so like I always felt like I had a spiritual connection. Like even when I was very young, I was like making theories about the universe and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say I have like psychic powers or ever had like intuition much or
mm. I mean, you do. It's just more latent. That's all. Just a dormancy.
yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you because my late partner, he also had aphantasia. That's how I first heard about it. I didn't even know that was a thing. And he said that he couldn't visualize. He couldn't really like astral project. And he was taking like classes at the time for like telepathy and stuff, like, you know, like moving objects and like, you know, telekinesis and like that sort of thing. And he had like some success at it, but he still had problems with like visualization. But eventually it did come online for him too. You know what I mean? So it's just integration. It's just probably fragmentation that needs to be integrated.
Yeah, I think I just need to really like intuitively I would feel like I need to really I guess align my body and really like align my mind, not in like the kind of spiritual seeking that I'm doing, but just really deep silence, concentration, really I don't know. I'm sure there's things and also I can kind of directly develop that probably. So, do some practices related to telekinesis or telepathy or psychic abilities, whatever. You think that stuff is real or
Oh, I
like
know it is.
telekinesis?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be
Telekinesis
able
is real.
I really want to be able to do that. Like I can just like I really want to like be at some party or with some I don't usually go to parties really, but be around some people and like be able to like show them some it's a little bit vain obviously a pursuit, but it's like it's cool, it's like so cool.
I'm not gonna lie, like that's where we have to start with like stripping ourselves from like our egoic desires. You know what I mean? Which is like
Yeah.
obvious. But at the same time, like we always want to thrill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I used to do that. Like I would get volunteered to do like psychic readings at parties and like, tarot readings at parties. And I did that when I was like pretty young. I was like 17, 18, 19, 20. You know what I mean? So it's like that crowd. And people were shocked and they couldn't believe how accurate it was. And yeah, like the whole thing was though, is that like even then I was like actively practicing like the non-attachment to like that external validation.
Right.
It's like, okay, you're accurate, but don't abuse it. And I learned a very hard lesson with my friend at the time because we used to partner and do it together. And she was like really telepathic. I mean, like to the point that she would call me and be like, I know you're with Fiona right now, and I know you guys are sitting in your car and you're not far from me. Why didn't you call me today? That's literally her. You know what I mean? So the issue is she got way too ahead of herself and she was using it in a dark way for manipulation, where she was like keeping a boyfriend who no longer wanted to be with her, but she would like psychically control him. And she was kind of scary because like when she got mad, she was able to make the room like 20, 30 degrees colder. So it would go
Wow.
from like 70 degrees to like 40 degrees or 30 degrees where you would get like a chill. You know what I mean? So she would kind of like suck the air out of the room, sort of thing, like, But the problem was that because she had abused her powers for so long and she was like doing drugs, like oxycontin, and like she like downer, she like pain medication and shit. Anyways, what happened was it ended up actually being stripped from her. And as she got older, she actually started to kind of form like a dementia type of vibe going on where like she couldn't remember things, even past conversations we had. She no longer could understand like astrology or like any of the complicated systems that she used to. And eventually the telepathy just dropped and she was no longer able to hear anyone or anything.
Wow, that's so sad.
Yeah, she kind of dissolved into a madness for a while too and disappeared. That was the other thing.
Wow, that's powerful though. Um, yeah, I think it's also a little bit of a part of it is like sometimes I actually don't even like validation because it makes me start like thinking, oh, I'm like so cool or I'm like this, and I just like I don't really like that feeling of being like prideful, honestly. Like feeling, oh, I'm so because it's like kind of a lower vibration than like if you're like feeling good and like happy and vibing. But I can like also kind of want those powers to like be able to like show people who like don't know stuff, like to be like, oh wow, like this stuff is real, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing also, but that's crazy, all of those powers that you're describing that she has.
No, she had. Yeah,
Had.
past tense. Because this
Yeah.
was like in our early 20s. She started to kind of go crazy when she hit her like mid 30s, like 31, 32. It just all kind of like Crowley. Remember that story of Crowley, like how he kind of like deteriorated at the end and everyone kind of like abandoned him? That's kind of like what happened to her, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you're
Interesting.
familiar with that, but it's a pretty common story.
Not so much, no. Adjust my legs here. So,
But yeah, that's the thing. Go ahead.
oh, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking of things to talk about.
That's
Uh,
fine. Am I keeping you? I can let you go if you want.
no, I'm trying to I'm making this a habit of every Thursday I'm gonna be here for an hour. Um, it's past an hour, but I'm not going anywhere. Um, or maybe I'll go somewhat soon. Actually, I just checked, and it's an hour 10 minutes now. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be doing this every single week. So no, maybe if I seem uninterested, I promise you I'm not uninterested. I just had this comment the other day. It's like you couldn't seem more uninterested in you if you tried like on this video I was making. I was like, no, I'm just like really peaceful. Like I'm just chill. But
Oh, no, no, no. I like honestly, I can tell that like I'm used to like stoic people. So I could tell that you're actually like really engaged and we're kind of like hoping for this earlier. And it's, you know what I mean? Like kind of like trying to like keep that momentum going because you want it to be like something that has an effect next time and maybe it'll attract more of it. That's the vibe I pick up on.
yeah, that's pretty accurate. You're engaging your psychic abilities for sure.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Could be a
yeah.
cold reading. Your grandmother's in the room. Is her name Anne? Anyone with an A? Anyone with an A?
That'd be wild.
Right?
I'm at
Imagine.
my aunt Eva's house. That's where I'm staying. Um, that's an A, aunts, and something.
That's there you go. That's a cold read. You want it, so you're gonna keep feeding me little details. Eva. Okay, is she a Capricorn? Oh,
Well, actually, I think I maybe will. No, I mean, no, I have no. Maybe I'll go. I don't know.
but what do you
I,
want to
s-
do? What do you feel like?
I don't know right now. I don't know. You said like you want to go, so then like my mind went to that. Um,
Oh, I don't want to go. I don't care. I can hang out for a little while. No problem. I'm interested. I feel like you're pretty like perceptive, and I'd like to talk more about aphantasia and like what that's like for you and experiencing that and like how you even got involved in more spiritual practices and stuff, because that's interesting that you have aphantasia but yet you had like a healer soccer coach who was like placebo effect, but you knew it was more, stuff like that's engaging.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's weird because like I've been in this. I've heard a lot of teachings from this kind of law of one. I don't know if you're familiar with what that is.
Not really.
Um, basically it's this kind of philosophy, this website with these kind of supposed channeled teachings or something, and supposedly like when you enter into the really deep silent layers of the mind, that it's supposed to be like you enter into like geometrical, like you start seeing geometrical things and then you go deeper and it's like all this stuff starts happening. But I've like never really seen anything in meditation. Like I feel a lot, like I feel lots of bliss, lots of peace, but I've never like seen anything, which is I'm kind of disappointed about. Do you like would you say you like, I don't know, do you spend a lot of time meditating?
Yeah.
Do you like feel anything or
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it's weird. I don't know. Like I wonder if like I really go deep into those feelings and just like, or if I just go deep into the silence, that things will start to awaken, become those. I do kind of want to develop those psychic powers. Like that's pretty cool, to be honest. Um, not
Well,
also
try it
just
with
to
me.
like, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
okay, so like you say you feel really deeply, so we can start there. Go into your feelings, right? You're in my energy field right now. I'm in your energy field right now. We're directly engaging. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you like perceive just from like what arises?
mm. Yeah, it feels a little bit blank. Might take a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like I get like a feeling from you, a general vibe that from like a young age you had a solid like kind of maybe what you were referencing earlier, that you always kind of had some latent abilities or you're sensitive sort of. I feel like I get that general vibe from you, that you have that sort of stability and had that from a very young age. Like it's more of a, I don't know if I want to say generational energy or what's, but that there's something that's like deeper there, you know. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how much I'm really picking up like in the moment. It feels pretty blank.
That's okay. It is blank. Because I feel the same way too, even when I said the thing about, you're like, oh, are you and your grandma aunt's house, whatever, like it's just, it is like that. You know what I mean? Like it's an expansiveness, and it's just like an emptiness in awareness. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
So you're right on track. And now, like with what you're perceiving, like, yeah, I did tell you things ahead of time. So it's really not about guessing. It's just about you can discern that this is accurate because of what you've perceived yourself. Because if that wasn't true, then you would have probably said something different when you opened yourself up to the field.
Yeah.
You would have been driven elsewhere and been like, well, actually, I think that this is something more recent, or you know what I mean? It would have pulled you in that direction.
Yeah. 100%.
So you do have intuition and you are very perceptive, and I could tell you are very sensitive. Like I'm sure that like people's tones affect you, and you have like the stoicness, but at the same time, like you are very like you're very like emotionally present. You're very vivid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it can become very subtle, right? Like the lines between awareness and with, how am I trying to, how should I express this? It's like we have emotions and we have feelings, but then we also have, like, you could say spirits or things. Like an emotion would be like anger, but then you have like maybe like a spirits or like a mood, or like it's just like more subtle, like more in the background kind of. So there definitely are those things that you can kind of notice, like in yourself and in other people, that speak to something that's uh, maybe a little more profound in its subtlety, if you want to say that. Um,
Hello again.
welcome back. Welcome back. That's a lot of what I kind of am seeking for, and like am enjoying exploring, like those more subtle kind of emotions where it's like you're trying to conceive of something. Like that's a lot of my meditation, is working on trying to conceive of something infinite, and then you feel what does that infinite feel like, and then so you're entering into that kind of emptiness, like you're saying, where this like this ocean, and then like possibilities arise, and then you experience different sorts of more subtle, higher states of consciousness. I actually, once I was at this meditation retreat with my girlfriend at the time, and we were singing this Baba Nam Kevalam mantra kirtan for hours and hours in the car, and then we got to this place, and then we would go down and we would extend ourselves in a sastang pranam, like a sort of like you kind of like bow kind of like on the floor, and then like I felt like this energy like buzzing, like so tangible, like in my head. It's like filling my head, uh and then we both got up, and then she said to me, did you feel that like electricity buzzing in your head? And I was like, and it was so palpable. I was like, wow, like that's cool little experience.
That's amazing. Yeah. I think that mantra is like super important. Like mantra, like deity focus, like because like I've been working with like Amani Padme for like years and years and years. And like all of my meditations, I imagine like the lotus and it unfolding and the pearl in the center. You know what I mean? Like that's been like a huge thing for me for like ever. It's my favorite.
Adi, what do you think about novel abstractions? It's speculated that the difference in intelligence between chimps and humans is only 0.5%. Like we can imagine that another 0.5% of intelligence in a human would manifest as abstractions that we cannot even imagine of yet.
Mm, like the next sort of age of beings, the next generations, like the next evolved states, an enlightened
Yeah, yeah.
race
If
or
we were
something.
able to if we were able to add another 0.5% of intelligence to humans, then that human would be able to reach novel abstractions that we are not yet aware of.
Hmm. What do you mean by novel extractions?
We like, for example, language itself, human language itself, is a novel abstraction in the animal
Oh,
kingdom.
abstraction. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's an interesting
So they,
idea. Yeah.
yeah. So how would you think like these novel abstractions would work?
That's a very good question, because it's even hard to imagine like how animals experience. Maybe they have a they interact, or maybe they experience some sort of lower form of
They
novel
minds
abstraction
are
that we have lost.
their minds are unfractured by thought. So like they are not pulled by abstraction in one way and by their nature in the other way. So they're so in tune with their nature that they're not thought never becomes a burden for them.
Yeah. Like I'm not exactly sure if I'm getting exactly what you're referring to, but let me see if I can go on this little monologue, or say this really very briefly. Um, like if you like, what I was thinking of when you were saying that was that, like, if you think of like a new color, right? It's impossible to imagine. So like for an animal to even conceive of what culture or language or subjective experience, or all of these things which are novel, which are abstract to us, um, maybe that's not exactly what you're referring to, and especially I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what you meant by novel, and you can explain that. But
Yeah.
like to
So
imagine, like
the novel
in a next
yeah. Go ahead. Go
generation,
ahead.
like in a next generation, what could be new in that generation, and how in a new race, and how past evolutionary species experience life and reality, we don't know.
Yeah, it might take something unique yet unexpected to reach a novel abstraction. Uh, maybe some kind of unique circumstances and some unique catalyst would be required to reach these novel abstractions that most masters might not have reached these novel abstractions yet.
It's a pretty cool thought. Well, guys, I think I'm actually going to head out, but like I really appreciate you guys like coming like so much. I got to know you both a little bit better, but hopefully I'll get to know you guys even better. And yeah, I just really appreciate it. I hope that we're gonna all continue to enjoy these conversations, or grow from them, or whatever. Yeah. So, oh, he left. Okay.
Yeah. All right.